The 2017 Chevrolet Corvette Grand Sport. This has become one of Chevrolet's most popular Corvette models in recent years. Why? Well, because I think it bridges the gap perfectly between the standard C7 Stingray and the hardcore Z06. I'm Jay and welcome to Car Buzz Unboxing Reviews, and this is a car I've been wanting to get a hold of for a while, and I want to thank Woodland Motors for letting me come on down and film this for you today. So the 2017 Chevrolet Corvette Grand Sport. Now, the Grand Sport was brand new for the 2017 model year. Actually, I saw it in several auto shows, including Geneva, of all places. They really want this car to do well overseas in Europe, too, as well as the Detroit Auto Show. But it was at Geneva where I was able to interview the Corvette Chief Engineer, Tadgue Juechter, and we talked a lot about this car, and this actually happens to be one of his favorite Corvettes right now, and personally, this is the Corvette I would buy. I like the standard C7 Stingray an awful lot. Great car. I encourage you to check out my unboxing review of that as well. And then there's the hardcore Z06, and the emphasis there is hardcore. It is very much a high-performance supercar, world-class. It's a wonderful, wonderful machine, but it's too much car for a lot of people. In fact, at Detroit, just this past January, then Vice President Joe Biden was walking around, and he came back to this very car right here, the Corvette Grand Sport, twice. He saw it the first time. He went and he checked out all the Dodge Challenger Hellcats and all that type of stuff, and then he came back again to look at the Grand Sport. He even thought that the Z06 was a little too much for him, but then again, he's a 70-something-year-old man. But again, this is the Corvette of my personal preference, and we're going to talk a lot about it today. And as you can see, at least from the interior here, which it's a jet black leather, it looks pretty much like the standard C7 Stingray, and that's fine. It's the exterior where the most noticeable differences are. Here, however, you have these GT bucket leather seats, 8-way power driver's seat, dual-zone automatic climate control, leather-wrapped steering wheel, and tilt and telescopic steering. Now, this particular one has the 2LT package for an extra $4,455. What does that get you? Memory package, heated and ventilated seats, seat badges, premium audio with surround, seat adjusters with power bolster and lumbar, luggage shade and a parcel net, power heated outside mirrors, inside rear view mirror, a head-up color display, XM radio, and a front curb view camera. So basically, GM, to its full credit, and I mentioned this with the standard C7 Stingray, it has upped the quality of the Corvette's interior tremendously, especially compared to, well, all previous Corvettes, such as its immediate predecessor, the C6. I love that car's exterior design, but the interior, they did improve it a little bit over the years, but it just always felt cheap to me, and I don't believe I'm alone on this, but just the difference between the C6's and the C7's interior, it's almost as if they skipped an entire Corvette generation. The C7's interior is that good. Just look at the navigation infotainment screen right here. It's big, it's clear. I love those large buttons that GM is doing these days on the flat panel touch screen right there. It's perfect. They did such a nice job. Everything worked as it should. There was no rebooting or anything stupid like that going on whatsoever. Now, as far as the navigation system goes, I think there are maybe some better ones out there. I am a big fan of FCA's Uconnect. I think that is the best one out there, as well as BMW's iDrive, and for that matter, what Audi is doing as well. It's very similar to iDrive. I do think I like those a little bit better. I've recently been able to play around with Ford's new Sync 3 system, and I really recommend that as well. But I think in this, for this car right here, it fits the Corvette just fine. I don't think a lot of people are going to buy a Corvette specifically with a nav system and infotainment system in mind, but it is definitely something people are taking into account these days. But the people who buy Corvettes, they want them for performance and the driving personality and lifestyle they provide. Now, where does the Grand Sport name come from? Well, the first Grand Sport, just to give you some history here, first appeared back in 1962 during the C2 Corvette era program. The original goal was to challenge Ford and the Shelby Cobra, believe it or not, at the racetrack. However, only 5 Corvette Grand Sports were built, even though they planned to build 100 of them, and all 5 of those raced. In fact, all 5 of those still survive today, and they're owned by private owners, but each one of them is worth millions. In fact, one of them, I believe, is still in the Smithsonian, and it is actually in working condition. Its engine still functions. So a little history there, but the the Grand Sport moniker didn't reappear again until 1996 to mark the end of the C4 production. It again returned in 2010 with the C6 as a replacement for the Z51 package. And the Grand Sport, or the C6 Grand Sport, sold very, very well. So it made complete sense for Chevrolet to bring it back with the C7. And again, that brings us up to today, returned in 2017. And what I really like about the Grand Sport is that it features the Z06 wide body features and suspension tuning. Now, Corvette's chief engineer, Tadgue Juechter, told me that he sees the Grand Sport as the Purist Corvette. It's, for an example, 3.5 inches wider than the standard C7 Corvette, but it's still powered by the C7 Stingray's LT1 V8, which I'll get to in just a moment. But this one, the Grand Sport comes with a number of standard items that are optional on the Stingray. For an example, the dual mode exhaust system and the dry-sump arrangement that's on the Z51 package. So basically, in my opinion, you're getting more for your money, and you're getting a car, at least from the exterior, looks an awful lot like the Z06. There's that color head-up display. Some people like these things, others simply don't. I think when it's done right, it works very well. When it's done not so right, just remember the previous C6, it's just really flat-out annoying. And again, just as I mentioned with my previous review of the standard C7 Stingray, it's very comfortable, this car. You can find a very, very nice driver's position, whether you're tall, you're short, doesn't matter. Anybody can drive this car. Now, I wouldn't say the same about the Z06. That is a much more, as I keep mentioning, extreme machine. The Grand Sport here, though, it behaves, and it still looks totally badass. Alright, so let's talk some safety here. Standard features: active handling and stability and traction control, front and side impact airbags, rear vision camera, four-wheel ABS disc brakes, all your standard other airbags. The car is safe. Remember, the U.S. government has very stringent safety standards these days as well. Now, obviously, this is the coupe body style. You can also get it as a convertible. I personally prefer the coupe, as you see right here, because he had this sort of rear hatch design. Obviously, more cargo space is available. There we go. What I like about this is that, yeah, there is a decent amount of space here. Look at, these are just a few small bags, but when you really add it up, you can get a couple of large suitcases in there. All right. Under the hood, what do we have? A naturally aspirated 6.2-liter V8. This is the LT1 with direct injection. 460 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 465 pound-feet of torque at 4,600 RPM. Yeah, that sounds absolutely brilliant. Now, this particular car, it is paired to the optional 8-speed automatic transmission with the paddle shifters. That's a $1,725 option. The standard gearbox is the 7-speed manual with a rev matching standard feature as well. But personally, I would probably go with the 8-speed automatic. I don't say that it's actually a whole lot better, even though it probably gives some better track performance times than the 7-speed manual transmission. But if you prefer to row your own gears, then go for the 7-speed manual. You're really not going to miss out on anything. It's all about you and what your preference is in terms of a driving experience. Fuel economy, 15 miles per gallon in the city, 26 on the highway, and a combined 19 miles per gallon. Total weight, depending if it's the coupe or the convertible, either 3,500 to 3,600 pounds. Alright, so let's talk some performance here. 0 to 60 miles per hour in this is 3.8 seconds, which is a tenth of a second quicker than the standard C7 Stingray. Top speed, 175 miles per hour. Now, to compare to the Z06, it's a much more hardcore machine. Now, you got to remember, it has a supercharged 6.2-liter V8 with 650 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. So, yeah, it's almost 200 horsepower more powerful. But that will give you a 0 to 60 time of 3 seconds flat and a top speed of about 185 miles per hour, give or take. So, Like I said before and again, and now I'm saying it again, the Z06 is a much more hardcore machine. I think the Grand Sport is the happy medium between the base C7 Stingray and the Z06. Now, this particular one, it has what they call Watkins Glen gray metallic exterior paint, 19-inch front wheels, 20-inch rear, headlamps, daytime running lights, removable carbon fiber roof panel, which I love because you sort of get the best of both worlds there. You can get that open top experience just by removing the lightweight carbon fiber panel there. You get the rear spoiler, front splitter, side rocker extensions. You also have within the 2LT package, as I mentioned earlier, for the interior. What you get for the exterior is power heated outside adjustable mirrors, driver's side auto dimming, and these Grand Sport black aluminum wheels for an extra, actually, $495 as opposed to the standard nickel ones. So how does this drive? Well, it's got the Grand Sport performance suspension, magnetic ride control, which is an adaptive suspension and damper system, slotted brake rotors, unlimited slip differential. Look, it drives wonderfully. This proves that GM can build wonderful drivers cars, track cars, you name it. Now this one also has, for an extra $1,795, and this is cool, the performance data and video recorder with nav. Now that allows drivers to actually record their track times and compare them. It's really kind of neat. So this does have real bona fide performance abilities. What's the competition? Depending on the trim level, the Porsche 718 Cayman and Boxster, Audi TT RS, Lotus Evora 400, again, depending on the trim, Jaguar F-Type, and maybe even the Alfa Romeo 4C if you're really looking for a purist track experience. So let's talk pricing. Base price for this, $65,450. Now, this particular one with about $8,670 worth of options and a $995 destination fee, grand total, $75,115. And that's very much right in with all that competition that I just mentioned. But again, just to compare back to the Z06, that only begins at about $84,000, and you can quickly option that up to with an extra 10 grand worth of options. So you're looking at very close to six figures for a Z06. And you can get this thing for, again, it's got less horsepower, not quite as powerful, for $25,000 less, and it still looks fantastic. Again, it's got the Z06 wide body kit. Okay, so what do I like here? Well, it's a great chassis, lots of grip, and I love this enhanced exterior design, such as the side rocker extensions. It just, if you put this side by side with the standard C7 Stingray, this looks so much cooler. Now, what don't I like? Again, just like with the Z06, you start adding on more and more option packages, it's going to get expensive very, very fast. Again, this only has about, a little less than $9,000 worth of options, so you're already at 75 grand. But again, for a base price of $65,000, you're getting a hell of a car for the money. And as Mr. Juechter was telling me, the Grand Sport has become very, very important for the Corvette program. They are selling a lot of these. Buyers have caught on to basically the performance bargain that the Corvette Grand Sport provides them over the standard Stingray. And there you go. Chevrolet has hit a home run here. But I'm out of time. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you on my next unboxing review.